Oh my God, tennis is dying. Is tennis dying? Pickleball's taken over. I like pickleball. It's easier. It's funner to learn. It's easier. It's just easier. It's a great equalizer. I get to play with this 80-year-old lady. Tennis players are caught doping. They're drug dealers. They're dopers. They're a bunch of dopers. Tennis is boring. They just hit the ball back and forth. It's boring. Stop. Hey everybody, tennis coach Connor Casey here. I'm here to tell you that tennis is in a very special place. College tennis is about to save tennis. That's right. Whether you think the sport's dying, whether you think it needs a makeover, or whether you're just a tennis fan who wants to know where the sport's going, I'm here to tell you that we are on the verge of the college tennis renaissance. I'm a former ATP player. I played college tennis. When I went to college, I thought that college tennis was just this silly detour that people did because they couldn't make it to the pros. Now, not only is college tennis the perfect place for an aspiring pro, but I believe over the next 10 years, the top 100 on the ATP Tour and WTA are going to be dominated by college players. We're already seeing it with players like Ben Shelton, Cam Norrie on the men's side, on the women's side, Emma Navarro, Peyton Stearns, and my girl Danielle Collins. What's up, Danielle? Love the feist in her. She brings the college tennis energy to the pros. So does Ben Shelton. I got 3 reasons why college tennis is the future of tennis, okay? Here we go. Let's get started. Number 1, peak performance windows. In tennis, the peak performance window is growing. It's happening in all sports, but it's definitely happening in tennis. Now, what is a peak performance window? That's an age when you're usually playing your best at the sport. In tennis, it was usually considered between the ages of 18 and 22. Now you're seeing pros play well into their 30s. In fact, you're seeing a lot of players not even get good, not even hit their peak window until after 30. That used to be insane. Pete Sampras retired at 31. Now you see Roger Federer, Serena, Nadal, they're all playing well over 35 into their 40s. It's happening in other sports as well. LeBron James into his 40s. Now, why this is important with college is because college lines up with that peak performance window. Everybody used to think that college tennis interfered with your peak performance window as a tennis player, and now we're seeing that not only does it not, but actually players can go to college, treat those 4 years like development, get stronger, use these top-of-the-line facilities to get better, and then start their pro career at 22, and they're still nice and young. So as the peak performance windows get older, college tennis is going to become more and more of a legitimate place for tennis players to develop. Number 2, the NIL money. That's right. Name, image, likeness. Now, for those that have been living under an old tennis ball in the field, why didn't a dog pick that up? And you're not aware of what the NIL is. The NIL means that college athletes don't have to retain an amateur status anymore. College athletes can get paid. That's right. Tennis players do not have to retain their amateur status anymore. It used to be that on the pro tour, you had to keep an amateur status or go to college. You couldn't do both. So that meant that as an amateur, you're not getting paid. Now you can get paid to play college sports. This is especially amazing. You're seeing in college sports, you're seeing in football, some players are getting upwards of $20 million to play college sports. One guy at Wake Forest I heard was getting $20 million to play football. I heard about a girl getting $1 million a year to play softball in Texas. Tennis is definitely going to start seeing some of that money. We're already seeing it. Now, on top of the NIL money getting paid, athletes are now being used to recruit other athletes to schools. So schools are using NIL money and they're trying to raise NIL money to pay athletes to recruit for their school. Why this is interesting, especially to someone like me who's an influencer, who's involved in content, is that they bring in people like me to help facilitate growing a program and recruiting other players by making content for that school. When you're making content for these schools, these athletes that are involved in the content, they're growing their brand, they're attracting sponsors, and they're getting more money, which will help them so that when they decide to go pro, they've got more sponsors, more brands, a bigger influence online, more followers, and that'll just help them attract sponsorship. NIL money makes college tennis an amazing place for an aspiring pro. And the third one is social media. Now, tennis used to be all about 4 tournaments on TV, right? The Australian, French Open, Wimbledon, US Open. Aside from that, you might get a couple more tournaments on TV, but for the most part, we were only getting to see the top events. Now, thanks to social media, we're getting an expanded universe. Our world is growing. We're getting to see smaller pro events. We're getting to see challengers. We're getting to see futures. Big shout out to all the futures players out there. They are the working class heroes of our sport. Much love to y'all. And guess what? We're getting to see college tennis now. Now, thanks to Cracked Rackets, thanks to Nothing Major Podcast, a couple of college boys and a couple of guys too good for college. That podcast, along with other influencers, they're bringing that college tennis world to the forefront. We're going to see the energy. We're going to get big camaraderie, and the world is now going to get to see that college energy that all of us ex-college players know is the key to our sport. That's the energy. Team tennis is coming to the forefront. Now, me, I'm also committed to bringing college tennis to you guys. I'm going to be working with the ITA, that's the Intercollegiate Tennis Association. They just hired a new CEO who's big into social media. He knows what's up. He's making good content. I'm going to be making some content for them in Chicago at the ITA Indoor. indoors. Come say hi to me if you're going to be there. Super excited to be at the women's indoors in Chicago. Then I'm going to Dallas. Sorry, Dallas, you lost Luka Doncic, but at least I'm coming to town, right? Record scratch. Who's this guy? Anyway, I'm very excited to be involved in college tennis. I'm excited for where it's going. I believe in the next 10 years, we're going to see the top 100 get saturated with college players. By 2030, I'm predicting that majority of the top 100 played college tennis. Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about college tennis. Is it the future? Follow me on Substack. I'll put the links below. You can follow me on Substack. Follow me on Instagram. Let me know in the comments if there's any topics you want me to cover. And is tennis dying? Let me know. All right? Thanks for following me. Buy a Rosemary POP t-shirt. Arrivederci.